today, after being seen all the details of the MEU, you kind of familiar with the interface now. So we're going to dive into the most important subject, I will say, and I will try not to be too fast and go slowly because it's very important. It's the MEU, the MEU. MEU are really the center of AAASeed. It's like the functional blocks, like the atomic side on not interface but functionality. MEU is a module unit that encapsulates something. And the MEU is its counterpart, is a module editable unit. So in fact, MEU is a base to encapsulate, manipulate functionality. Here, for example, on the right side, you have an example of an inviter MEU with its interface. And MEU is a compact representation symbolizing the MEU. So for every MEU there is a MEU, for every MEU there is a MEU. At the top here you can see the MEU with an icon, and in fact the second part is a slider. Let me go to real world condition, and here, okay, for example, this, the tuto BU one is a MEU. This is a MEU, but when you click here, you get the MEU associated with it. In fact, it's more complex, but we'll go slowly to that. The slider value, because in fact, if you click here, it's a slider. You see, you can slide. What happens is the slider is StarMenu. As usual, you slide, and you can see here in the monitor, you can see that the cube is more or less visible because it's more or less transparent because I'm changing the slider here. So if it's 0, the thing is unactivated, and as soon as it's more than 0, that's the alpha, that's the transparency of this module of this MEU. But it's not always a graphic process, so I say transparency, yeah, it's have meaning here, but not all the time. So you click on the slider, you get the StarMenu, but the StarMenu is the StarMenu of the MEU. Of the MEU is a little bit the same. Here at the top you can see what is it. So in fact, when I clicked here, it sent me the interface here. Look, I'm going to close that and show you again. See, I click and up. Sorry, if I click on the icon, tack, the interface is set here. There is another ways to do it. If I click here, I go to the StarMenu UI5 because I'm using UI5 here. Up, the interface is set there. So the state and the position of the MEU control the rendering order. We'll see later more details on this. Transparency, so for example, if I take this and move it on top here, this one is now drawn first and this one is drawn after. No, sorry, this one is drawn first and this one is drawn after, so that's why the cube is now on the top of the sound wave. If I change the position, the sound wave is now on the top of the cube. But I detail that, but the rendering order is from the bottom to the top. And this line here is not a connection, the orange line you see here. It's just something which is built on the fly to let you understand which order the rendering is done. So bottom to top and then right to left. You could do it like this. So first TK, which is the sound, and then the tuto BU, which draws a cube on top of it. If I do it up, you can see it's changing the order. So the orange line, we call it the rendering chain, because that's the chain, that's the order in which we render. And remember here, same thing here, for example, in this block TK, which is a sound, if I change this, oh, the alpha of the voice will change. I hope this is clear enough, but don't worry, we'll go back to it. So I told you that when I clicked here, it's send me the interface here in UI 5. In fact, it's a default thing. Let me open another one, UI 4. Oh, because you can have several of this. The interest is like you can have several interfaces open at the same time. And let me open UI 3 and UI 1 and UI 2. Oh, we have a lot of things here. But let's just stay here. If, for example, I want the tuto bu here, I can say send it to UI 4 and see that's now where it is displayed, and I will send this one to UI 5. So like this I can edit two things at the same time. I could eventually, but you're gonna get lost, but we are here for this, to get you lost and unlost. Let's send this one to UI 3. So sorry, and send this one to, I did a mistake, UI 5. So now see, I can, perhaps it's clearer for you like this. I have like 4 different blocks with 4 different interface. 3, but I can have like 4, 5. In fact, there is 6 of this block: UI 1, UI 2, UI 2 to UI 5, and we'll see UI 6 here is a little bit special, but we'll talk about that later. So UI, one more time, if you click on the icon, but like here, when I click, they're already set into one UI. So you see the link here, the big link to show you where it is. And in which block is it. Also, if you click here, you will see a link the other way. So that's another way to know where is your MEU and where is your MEU. That's the connection between the two that you can see. So UI 5 by default. If you want to pick another one, you have to go here and choose one of this one. I don't recommend using UI 6. We'll see later why. Okay. So links shows a relation. MEU StarMenu to choose which UI. If you click on the here, see you have a StarMenu. Here, if you click on the background of a MEU, you have the same StarMenu. I can slide. Sorry, which one? No, sorry, this one. Let's go to the tuto bu here, and so see when I slide here, I control the alpha of the MEU. If I'm gonna do it from here because you don't need to move all the time. So here I'm in the MEU in UI 4, and if I click here, I have the StarMenu, and if I go to slide, I'm changing exactly the same value. You can see it on the monitor here. It's the same thing, and let's put it to this value. You can see here that's exactly 0.68. That's I'm at the same value here. So there is an equivalent between clicking here and clicking here. Same thing. When you have a red background, I can do it this way. For example, I'm going to go to min and set it to 0. See here the background became red. That means that I'm not rendering because my slider is at 0. So I can change it one more time here. Max, min, 0, or I can do it directly here. Max. In case UIX are what we call BUME, that's for the developer. And we talk about it already, but drawing change with distance. See, when my mouse gets further away, this slowly, I draw less things, so it's an optimization, and you can control it somewhere in the window bu. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna perhaps dive a little too much or not enough. We'll see, depend on the MEU. MEU is a module of functionality. In computer terms, it's an object. It's usually rendered, but it can do otherwise. Some receive, send data, some analyze images, some control a device, plotter, DMX, Arduino, whatever. And in fact, this MEU have 2 main methods, which are called every frame. One method is called update, and in update, the object tries to do everything it has to do before rendering, which in fact it's before drawing, because rendering is update and draw. So it does everything it needs to be done before drawing. And draw, just draw. In fact, we'll see that some blocks are drawn several times, so it's nice to have a separation between update and draw, because you can update one time and draw several times. And there is one other method I should mention it, which is update UI. Update UI is called when you display the interface. So that means that eventually, if you want to show stuff in your interface, you can do it. You can draw this or update stuff doing update UI. The real nature of MEU, just a peek for now, because it can go far, really, really far, and we could spend hours on it. But it's a Lua object. The name is a MEU type. For example, here it's a TK, and that's the instance 1. That means it's a class of an object. It's an FBO, and the instance is a diff. It's tuto, and that's a tuto 1. The class can be called a type or prototype. We'll dive into this for developer. But it's just nice to know that it's a Lua object. It's a scripting object. Everything can be scripted in this and changed on the fly. In fact, at the background or under, let's say it's the tip of the iceberg, that's what you see. Under it, for everything, if you go here and you go on focus, it will show you flatland, and in flatland you will have, and this is really complex, you can access the C++ object and directly change the params of it. We'll dive into that later. And it's accessible through this interface, or there is some Lua method to also go and change this. Remember, tab is the key to go flatland, yes or no. It lives in a directory. Everything is readable and it can be edited. It's less and less needed. Some like it, and it's really good for developer. For example, here, if I do dir here, it will open a directory. It does it on the other screen, so I will bring it here. And everything, every file, everything AAASeed is in text form, so you can read it. You can eventually change it if you're a developer and you know what you're doing. Okay, we're gonna talk, and I'm gonna get rid a little bit of the clutter here. I'm gonna do it on the tutobu, which don't have too much. So tutobu UI5. Okay, we're gonna talk about the menu bar. Menu bar is what you find at the top here or here. Here is a slide. Here is a real one. What mainly is here is controls that all the MEU have. So you will find the title here. It's green when it's the current one, because see, there is also this notion of current MEU. If I click here, it changes. That's the current one, is the last one I clicked on the icon. Remember, if you click on the slider, you get the star menu. It's a little bit different. But if you want to send it here, you can do that, or one more time, you click here and you do it with the star menu. But menu bar, white or green, depending if it's the current MEU or not. It's made of two parts, as I mentioned before. The first part here, the left part, is the name of the class, prototype, and so on. And the right part is the instance. So this is type tutobu instance 1. And here you will find 4 buttons, which are on button. This is a button thing. It's same order. It's like you have it. It's send, update UI, update, and draw. I already mentioned these 3 functions that every MEU called every frame: update and draw, and update UI to update the UI. That's why you have this button UI, update, and draw here. And there is a 4th button, the first one, send, which is used to control if you send stuff to another machine, but we're not talking right now about how you work with a bunch of machines at the same time. It just switches to activate, deactivate. So for example, here I'm going to stop the draw, and see, there is no more cube here. Or I'm going to stop the update. In my case, don't do a lot, because that means I'm not doing a lot of things in the update. It's also eventually a good debugging tool to understand stuff. Just at the side of it, you will find the numbers of milliseconds, which is the execution time. It's an indication, because if you really want to measure time, you should do something more tricky, which is you should set the timer at the beginning, wait for everything to be drawn and be sure that everything is finished. Then you should measure, get the timer at the end and do the difference. But if you do that, you have to wait for every block that the drawing is done, which is a synchronous thing. It makes your rendering slower. So usually we ask the graphic card to draw, and then we do something else. We let the graphic card deal with like several demands, one after the other. But it's a good indication, and it's in milliseconds. Let me just remind you that if you had 25 frames a second, 40 milliseconds is a full frame. This means it's like 1/500 of a second right now. Here you have what we call the tab, the selector, which make you switch between different interface accessible in your MEU. We already use it, but it's always nice to repeat things. And here you will find the close button. Close button don't really close the thing. It's like close the interface of your MEU, but it's still over there. So if I go and click here, it will be back. And it will be back exactly the same stage you left it. Here, if I dive into some more buttons, which are more for developers or advanced user, but you need to know it, and I wanted to regroup at the same place in the documentation, or you're gonna get things everywhere. This Lua button lets you, if you click on it, it will open, and sorry, it's on my second screen, it will open directly the Lua code associated with the block. And so you can change it, and you can immediately change what happened in your MEU. So for example, here, let me do something where I'm going to change here text to show. Why not? At the initialization, and I'm saving it. So now if I do def, which is the next button here, it means redefine, define. It reads the script in it, redefines the interface. So if I do a def, see the text here change. So very often when you developing, you iterate in real time. You do one thing here, you change it, and you try it, and you redefine. And okay, let's do it now in the lowercase here. And if you do a define, it redefines the interface, as we see. If you do a load, it will load the default parameter. So for example, here I'm changing stuff. If I do a load, up, it's go to the default state. If I do both a def and a load, it's the same thing than doing both. That's why it's in the middle of the two, and that's why when you do a both, the same thing happens, the same effects. That's when you do a def. Mainly for developers. Here we'll talk about it, but you can, if you click FBO, it will put in the UI 4, the UI is 5, so it will, the previous one, so UI 4 for UI 5, the FBO you're using. We'll talk about FBO later. Or there is this arrow who let you navigate into the rendering chain. So instead of going there and clicking where I want to go, I say, okay, I want to go to the next one, that's another way to navigate. Usually there is 2 ways, sometimes 3 ways to do stuff in AAASeed. And one more things which are considered as really important is presets. Every MEU have a bunch of value, which it's a discretion to the author of the MEU, can be saved or not. So here, for example, I'm going to save some value, and let's say that this is my preset. So to do that, I do control, it's there, control click save. So I'm going to, for example, save this, and this with value here. Okay, it will have more sense if we were showing something, and I'm gonna put it in 8. So now I have presets, so I can call the presets, and when I call the presets, all the value which were saved at the time, and I did it with slider here, but you can do it anywhere. This is preset 8 or 6, that's how you do this. So click will load, control click will save, so that's why you see this green stuff appearing, and control alt will erase it. Click, load it, control click, save it, control alt click, erase it. You can change the numbers of preset available for every type of MEU. Some have like 24, 32. We'll make it even changeable by the user later. But right now it's quite a lot. I want also to emphasize one thing. Okay, you have the presets which store value, and we saw before that you can save the value of a MEU. In fact, you save values of MEU explicitly. That means, like, if I did things here that I don't like, or until I save it, nothing will happen. I can still load it, but even if I go away, if I exit the application, if I load another application, it's not saved until you say save. So you have to save your MEU by yourself. This makes you able to do what you want, and when you're happy with the change you make in a MEU, then you can save it. And there is this button here, Save All, which save all the MEU found in your application, all of it. So it's like doing save on every MEU. If you do save all, it will do it one by one automatically. But preset also is really nice to, when you're working on a show, or you find a preset you really like, or you want to have preset for different moments in your show you want to use. It's useful. There is plenty of ways to use it, and it's up to you. So let's talk about the again about the star menu. Remember, star menu, you can have it here or you can have it here. There is two ways. So let's do with this version here. So slide, as we showed before, it just adjusts the alpha, focus, open flatland on the part of the C++ you use and its param, but we're not going to dive into that now. Lua, we've seen it, same thing. There is another way also. You can double click on the icon also, will bring you the Lua code. It's the same thing than doing Lua here. Directory, we saw it. It's open the instance for, no, I'm not sure. It's open the directory with your MEU living. So the data, the preset, everything will be here. And for advanced user, you will see if you go up, there is all the MEU and MEU I'm using in this environment here. So to access that, it's there. So if you don't know where you are, you want to save a MEU, you want to send it to somebody else, it's here. Directory, you go to it. There is all the UX to send you to different UX. And there is some really important stuff now. It's going to be more fun. Let's do a rename, for example. So I go here and I do rename. Rename, I'm going to call it TK Universal Solution TK42. Why not? So now it is named TK42. Not a big deal. Let's do something more interesting. Let's instantiate it. Instantiate will mean create a new one. So I do instantiate, and by default it will make me a new name, but I really don't like it. Let's go back to TK1 area. It was simple, efficient. Or let's call it TK anything, you know. Let's, for the sake of example, let's call it TKA. So now I have a TK and they are exact copy of one of the other. So if I go to TK here, see the presets are even the same, except that it's not on. So now I have two of these. So let's, for example, I know what I'm doing, change the color. So now I have a white one and change the camera on one. So see, now I have a red one and I have a white one. Let's make one also, the red one is thicker. So now I have two objects. So I really just did an instance and I got a second instance and I modify it. So now I have a second one that I can modify it, use around. We'll see more manipulation later. And also, let's say that now I don't want this one anymore, so I can do a destroy and it asks me confirmation. So tell me there is no undo on this. So I click and tell me no or destroy. Yeah, I want to destroy it. So now I remove it. I just have this TKA that I'm going to rename to TK1. So I'm back where we were at the beginning. TK1. Here we are. So remember, you can have it here or you can have it here. Same one. I hope this will make you as comfortable manipulating MEU and MEU that you are already comfortable manipulating MEU. So the next thing, we're gonna talk more about the rendering chain. See, there is more, you can feel that there is more things here, there is more rectangle, there is more ways to do it, and so we're gonna talk about it. Rendering chain and the Burek is our next subject. See you, bye bye.